guys, it's Trina. This is another recent reads. The next book I want to talk about that I have read this year is The Kiss Quotient by Helen, Hoang. I loved this book so much. This is an adult romance. It's quite erotic. I was not prepared. There is a lot of story, but there are a lot of graphic scenes as well, like more than I'm used to. Like I'm used to, okay, maybe you read an adult romance and there's like maybe 2 scenes, 3. This is probably like, I don't know, I lost count. That's how many there are. So, you know, FYI, if you don't like reading about sexy times, this probably would be one you wouldn't enjoy those parts too, because there's a lot that you would have to be skipping or would not be enjoying. This is about a woman named Stella. She is an economist and she has what was formerly known as Asperger's syndrome, which is on the autism scale, its own voices. Her mother says, hey, I really want grandchildren, maybe you should think about dating. And so Stella thinks grandchildren means sex, and I am very socially awkward. I don't like to date. I'm not good at sex, so I'm gonna hire a male escort to teach me. And it becomes a fake dating relationship. Oh my gosh, like this is the best fake dating trope I have ever read. I love it because these characters both felt so real. Michael, the male love interest, is just, he's gonna ruin men for you because he was really sweet. He's so respectful. He is so cautious of boundaries and consent. He really respects those things, and yet I guess because he's a male escort and he has a lot of experience, he also knows when to kind of be the alpha male. I think a lot of readers tend to enjoy the aggressive romantic hero, but sometimes they can be like, that can go too far and it becomes possessive and disrespectful. But he has such a respect for consent and boundaries, and that's a combination that I find rare in romantic heroes. I really enjoyed him for that. It's just, it's so cute. And it was like so much depth between each character's background that I got so invested in them. They felt so real. They're ruining every other book ship that I have had recently. And I mean, I loved it. It was just so sweet to watch these characters learn each other and start to feel confident with each other and comfortable together. And she wrote the romantic chemistry and tension between these two characters exceptionally well. Because this is a romance and because it is a sexy romance, I think you have to write those scenes well, and she did. Being that there are a lot of those scenes, she drew out the anticipation. Like, everything doesn't happen at once. There's a lot of buildup, and so it kind of felt like a slow burn also. So, slow burn trope, fake dating trope, and also this was, I think, intended to be inspired by Pretty Woman, and it definitely did feel like that. Like, I was thinking, oh, this feels like Pretty Woman, before I ever even realized that, oh, well, that was the intention. So if you like Pretty Woman, if you like slow burns with a lot of anticipation and build up, and if you like the fake dating trope, I really think you will like this one. I also read Heroine by Mindy McGinnis, which is a story about addiction. The main character is on the baseball team, but she gets into a car accident and breaks her leg, and she has a long road of physical therapy ahead of her to get back in playing shape. And she starts to misuse the pain medication that was given to her, and she becomes addicted to it and goes on to use other drugs throughout the story as well. There's a trigger warning at the beginning of this book, and I would definitely say please heed that. If you have experienced addiction or you are recovered, I think that this book would be very triggering because it goes into detail, but I do have a great respect for it because the book's intention is for people who don't experience this, in order to break negative stereotypes and kind of humanize the character with addiction in this story. And I think that it did that wonderfully. I've had a lot of discussions around this book with professionals in the field of recovery and with just people that didn't know very much about it like me. And I just really respect this book and appreciate the conversations that I've had and the understanding that it's brought to me. So it's a hard one to recommend to everyone, but if you're interested and if you like Mindy McGinnis' writing, I don't think she will disappoint. And I did do a full spoiler-free review on it, talking a lot more about the addiction aspects and more of the content that was covered. So I won't talk too much about it here. If you want to know more, please go check out that video, and I will link it above and below. Next, I read Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. This is a YA thriller. It had a convoluted mystery. In my opinion, it was kind of convoluted. It's about a girl went missing on homecoming night like 20 years ago. And then 10 years ago, another girl went missing on homecoming night. And now presently, there are threats that the next homecoming queens are going to go missing or be killed. Look, I don't even know how these things are all tied together. I know how 2 of them are tied together, but not the other one. It tried, and it just didn't make sense to me. So if you have followed me for a while, and if you remember when I read Karen M. McManus' first book, One of Us is Lying, I didn't like that book. I thought that it had some problematic representation, but I really enjoyed how she built the tension and the mystery in that book, and she always had me on the edge of my seat wanting to know what the truth of things were. And so I always have thought I will read her next book, because chances are she will have grown as a writer, won't make the same issues as I saw in the first book, and she will bring this great mystery edge that I did enjoy to her next book and to her writing. And that is why I picked up Two Can Keep a Secret, but it didn't have that same feeling for me. I didn't feel tense. I didn't feel like I cared about knowing the mystery. It didn't feel very urgent to me. I think maybe I had, strangely, a high expectation for it because I liked that part of her writing, and then it wasn't there, and the mystery that remained was just kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of a snooze to me. I didn't hate reading this book at all. Like, I never hated reading it, but I just didn't really care to find out what the mystery was, and I didn't see how everything played in. I think I would still check out more of her mysteries in the future, but this one unfortunately just didn't do it for me. And I've most recently read The Wicked King by Holly Black, which is the second book in the Folk of the Air series. I think there are going to be 3 books, and I loved it. So this is a series which is, it's weird for me because I feel like I've gone into both of the first 2 books, reading them thinking, oh, I love fantasy, fae are cool, whatever, and then I get into them and like a third of the way in I'm like, maybe I don't like fae as much as I thought I did. And it just gets like confusing to me about all the roles, because there's like a million characters, especially in the first book. But then like halfway through I get really into these books and I'm like, oh, here's all this plotting and scheming, and yes, this is the stuff I like. And then the ending of both books has left me like, whoa, that just happened. Really? I need to know what's going to happen next. So this is in some respect a series that I wish I'd kind of waited till it was completed and then just binge read all the books together, because the endings always leave me wanting to know more, whereas the beginnings, especially of the second book, left me like, wait, who was everyone again? So I had to read a recap to remember everything. It's about a human girl who has been taken to live in fairy. This series does have a very heavy enemies to lovers trope in it, and a lot of people love that, and I completely see the appeal. But there are also times when I'm like, stop it. You guys hate each other, you are cruel to each other, you abuse each other, you manipulate each other. I don't want any part of this relationship. No, thank you. So I don't know how I feel on that. I don't know if it's just this particular set of characters and this particular relationship, or if I'm discovering that I'm not much of a fan of the enemies to lovers. I don't know, but there are just some things where I can't stand them together. But when they are nice to each other, you do feel the chemistry and the whole like, we shouldn't be together because I can't trust you kind of thing. And if you're into that, I definitely think this delivers on that. But I don't know, but I do like these 2 characters individually, and I like how they plot together and what they get up to, you know, like story-wise. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Also, there were mermaids in this book, and I love mermaids. Other than that, I don't have a lot of thoughts on this one because, like I said, it's kind of a complex world with a whole lot of characters, and I don't have a lot to say about all these other characters. My main thing is I love Jude and her scheming and the things that twist around in the ends. So I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely into this series, but it's not like a favorite like it seems to be for everyone else. I think that's it for this wrap-up video because I covered 4 books. So yeah, if you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts on them, or if you want to read them, let me know that too, or just let me know what you have been reading recently. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments and with another wrap-up soon. Goodbye! Get off the bed. That's my cat shaking the camera. You want to be on this video?